So I watched Kung Fu Panda 4 on my 18th birthday, making it the first movie I watched as an adult. It's bad. It's bad. I didn't like it leaving the theater, and the more I think about it, the worse it gets. My mom and sister, who I watched it with, liked it, but both of them think that animation is just for children, and also my sister hasn't even seen the other movies, so yeah. I would still probably rather watch 4 over 3, but 4, I would say, is the worst movie. Now, it's better than I honestly was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be like Toy Story 4, but thankfully it's not that bad. I enjoyed the side plot with Poe's dads, although unfortunately it was pointless to the overall story. And the voice actors, especially the actress who played the chameleon, knocked it out of the park. The problem is that the movie seems to think it can coast off of her performance alone to make the chameleon an intimidating and compelling villain. Hey, remember how in the first movie Tai Lung escapes that impossible prison and fought the Furious Five on the bridge, holding his own against all of them? Remember how Poe has PTSD from when Lord Shen tried to genocide the pandas, and Lord Shen then creates a weapon which puts him above Kung Fu? Even in the third movie, which I didn't like, Kai defeats most of the Furious Five and Oogway and makes them into his invincible slaves. I bring all of these up because the series clearly understands that it needs to establish why a villain is a threat and why we should care, but the chameleon, that doesn't happen. All we get is that she likes money and pushes a guy down a couple of feet of stairs.
Ooh, I'm really scared.
Her end goal is to conquer and rule. I know this because she says it, out loud, to herself, for no reason. It's so lazy. Her backstory of being considered too small to actually do kung fu is stupid because we already know about Viper and Mantis.
Who am I to judge a warrior based on his size? I mean, look at me.
You probably should ignore that.
The movie actually decides to write out the Furious Five so they're not in the story, but they appear anyway at the end for like a training sequence. So the movie didn't want to have the Furious Five in it, but couldn't commit to not having them and decided to have them in anyway so people can go, hey, I know those guys. And the movie also expected people to react that way when it brought the villains from the previous movies back from the spirit realm, including Kai, who was killed by Poe in the spirit realm while Kai was a spirit, so he should just be permanently dead. And if it's agreed upon that the Kung Fu Masters go to the spirit realm and only the Kung Fu Masters, then Lord Shen shouldn't be there. And even if it is for everybody who dies, it wouldn't even make sense for the chameleon to summon him and steal his Kung Fu, which he does, because Lord Shen was never a Kung Fu Master.
You are no match for our Kung Fu. I agree.
In fact, he created cannons so he wouldn't have to be a master of Kung Fu. How do you mess this up? How do you forget about it? It feels like the people who made this movie didn't remember to watch the other ones before writing it. Especially because the villains, all of them, respect Poe at the end of the movie and willingly go back to the spirit realm, which is completely out of character for Shen. And speaking of being out of character, Poe and Shifu are regressed. The longer I edit this video, the more I start to think it is actually like Toy Story 4, because Shifu forgot everything that he learned over the course of the first movie and is an impatient, angry man again. Poe, on the other hand, seems to have forgotten the third movie because he learned how to teach and want to be a teacher in that one, but he doesn't want to be a teacher in this one. But he still has the staff and dragon powers that he got in the third one, so Kung Fu Panda 3 still happened, but Poe just, I guess, forgot the lesson he learned. And yes, I know Kung Fu Panda 3 also regresses the characters by making them need to relearn that teaching different people needs to be done in different ways, like in the first movie. But here's the thing, just because Kung Fu Panda 3 already did it doesn't mean that the fourth one suddenly gets off the hook for doing the same thing. In fact, it is even less of an excuse because that means that the same mistake was made twice. And the other thing Poe needed to learn in this movie, which was to resolve things peacefully, didn't matter because he needed to fight the chameleon anyway, but also this moment in Kung Fu Panda 2, I guess, doesn't count as him trying to resolve things peacefully according to the fourth movie, because he needs to learn that.
You gotta let go of that stuff from the past, because it just doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you choose to be now.
Then I choose
this.
Although 4 is a step up from 3 in terms of humor, not that that's saying much. For the most part, the jokes in this one weren't bad, although there were exceptions. I didn't find these thief people to be funny. At all. Oh yeah, and I guess I should address the new character Jen, who's post-student now, voiced by Aquafina. She's fine. I didn't like her, I didn't hate her. She just kind of exists. And that's not good if one of your two main characters I just feel completely indifferent about. Especially since the movie tries to have a big plot twist where she's working for the chameleon, but when that happened, I was just like, okay, I don't care. I don't care. It has no impact anyway because she wants to go back to Poe pretty much instantly. So yeah, Kung Fu Panda 4 is a bad movie. I don't recommend you watch it. It feels insulting to watch.